1, Chapter 3, Lesson 7. So this is focusing on solving radicals with two radicals. And so you really need to stay true to that steps from Lesson 6, in which the first thing is isolate the more difficult radical. Once you isolate it, square both sides. And when you square both sides, you may have to FOIL. If you have a radical still, you isolate the radical again. You repeat step 1. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to look at Billy's work here, and we're going to try to pick out here and see if we can find his mistake. So where's Billy's mistake in his work? See if you guys can kind of look at that and get an idea where his mistake's at. What did he do wrong? So if you're following his work, so he isolated the radical. He took this one first. This is the more difficult one, so that's good. So he isolated it over. And he squared both sides. You got 2a equals 6, a equals 3. Where is mistake? The formula or the... Good. Yep, that's correct. So he didn't FOIL. He just squared. He's missing the middle. Okay, very common mistake. Okay, so you gotta make sure that when you do this step here that you do FOIL this out because you're gonna have another radical. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this problem here. So we'll do the correct work. So we're gonna, he did this part right, so we'll just steal this here from this spot there. So 3a plus 4. All right, so we got a root 3a plus 4. I'll start in highlighter, but I'll go back to normal. Okay, plus 3 plus root a plus 1, right? That's what you guys have. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to square both sides effectively. So we're going to square this. That's gone. So you're left with a 3a plus 4. We're going to square this, and a lot of times help myself to make sure I remember. I just write it twice, just because I know I'm going to need to FOIL it anyways. So I write like that. So we FOIL it. 3 times 3, you get the 9. 3 times root a plus 1 is 3 root a plus 1. Root a plus 1 times 3, another 3 root a plus 1. Root a plus 1 times root a plus 1 is just a plus 1. Okay, so now you're looking at 3a plus 4. If I combine like terms, I got 9 and a 1 for a 10. There's just an a. 3 root a plus 1, another 3, that's 6 root a plus 1. And so here's my focus now. I want to isolate, I want to get that radical term by itself. So I want to move the 10 and the a. We don't need to move the 6. The 6 can stay. So minus the 10 minus the a here. So those are gone. So we get 2a now, minus 6 is on the left. And we have 6 radical a plus 1. So we did the process again. We isolated the second radical. Okay? And now we're going to work towards squaring that. And so we need to square this out. 2a minus 6, we also have to FOIL. You can write it twice if you want, but you should be a little bit better at this with our perfect square trinomial patterns. So you know that 2a squared is going to be 4a squared. Remember, 2a times 6 is 12, times 2 is 24, so it'll be a 24 here, right? And then negative 6 squared is 36. And then over here, we're going to have a 36 times a plus 1. Because 6 squared is 36. The radical a plus 1 becomes just a plus 1. Okay. I will expect you to do this as one of your written questions. So you will see this on your exam. Okay, so this is something you're going to want to practice. Okay. Yeah, because if you have both on the same side, you can't square them separately because you'd have to FOIL again, so it gets messier. So you want to continually isolate one so that you can get the other one isolated. You have to kind of do them one at a time. Excuse me. Okay, so then this right here is 36a plus 36. I'm going to move that over. You're going to see that the 36 cancels. You minus 36a here. We end up with 4a squared minus 60a equals 0. So we need to solve this. Now, this is actually the easier way of factoring. We still want to think about solving by factoring. And what's the way we'd factor this one? What would we do there? It's not a trinomial. It's a binomial, but it's not a difference of squares because 60a is not a difference of squares. So what do you think? What's our first thing in our flow chart for factoring? Yeah, take out 4a, GCF. So we're just going to factor this by GCF is all. We're going to take out 4a. Gives me a minus 15. Now we can see our answers. This answer, if you didn't know, when a is 0, it's all 0. So this one, a is 0. This one, a is 15 from less than 5, right? The 0 property. So 15 and 0 are our solutions that we're going to test. We're not for sure that 15 and 0 are the answers. Remember, you have to test these because radicals can have some extraneous solutions. Okay, so let's go up and let's write the original. Just right above it here to test. So we will write right here. So I'm going to write the root 3a plus 4 minus root a plus 1 equals 3. I'm going to test 0 first. If I test 0, okay, I'm going to test it here. 3 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 4 is 4. Square root of 4, 2. 0 plus 1 is 1. Square root of 1 is 1. Is 2 minus 1, 3? No, 0 is rejected. Now, just because 1 is the answer and 1 isn't doesn't mean they're always going to be one of each. You could have 2 good ones and 2 bad ones. Okay, so you have to test them. You can't make assumptions. So next one, 15. 15 in for A. 3 times 15 is 45, plus 4 is 49. Square root of 49 is 7. 15 plus 1 is 16. Square root of 16 is 4. Is 7 minus 4, 3? Yes. So A equals 15 is the correct answer and only answer. 0 is an extraneous solution. Okay, this lesson's just two examples, just 2 long examples is all this, and we'll be done here. All right, so let's try it again here. So this time they make you kind of work through a little hoop here. They make you try to set up the equation yourself. So when the square root of 2 less than a number, so a number means like x. So square root of 2 less than a number. So square root 2 less, so x minus 2 of a number, is subtracted from, so it's the thing that's subtracting, from the square root of 5 more plus 5, twice a number, is 3. That's your equation we're dealing with. So I'll read it one more time. When the square root of 2 less than a number, so that's the first, that middle radical there, x minus 2, is subtracted from, so we're subtracting this from this radical of 5 more plus 5, 2x, 2 twice the number. The result equals 3. That's how you translate that. Okay? All right, so I'm just going to push it up here. I'm going to rewrite this. Just push it up so we have some room here. So we have 2x plus 5 minus x minus 2 equals 3. All right, so what do you want to try first, Curtis? What do you think? Isolated radical, right? This one may be considered more difficult because it has a coefficient on the x, so we'll add this one over. Like that. So we're there first. So now you're here. We've isolated the more difficult radical, you could say. And now we square. Which in this case, we know that means I'm just going to FOIL this out. You don't have to write that 2 there if you don't want to. It's fine. Okay. So this one just cancels. So 2x plus 5, got rid of the radical. This one we need to FOIL. 9, because the 3 times the 3. Now I'm going to have a 3 root x minus 2 and a 3 root x minus 2 for 6 root x minus 2, excuse me. Root x minus 2 times root x minus 2 is just x minus 2. Just like that. Okay. And now again, we're going to isolate the other radical. So now we're going to try to isolate this term. So 2x plus 5, 9 minus 2, I have a 7 plus an x plus a 6 root x minus 2. So minus the 7 minus the x minus 2 now, okay, equals 6 root x minus 2. So now we're going to square both sides again. X minus 2, we should be pretty comfortable squaring that out. X squared minus 4x plus 4. Square the second piece, 36 times x minus 2. And now we have to get everything to one side and solve by factoring. This becomes 36x minus 72. And we're going to move that over now. So we minus the 36 over. It's going to give me x squared minus 40x. 72 we're going to add over. That's 76. X squared minus 40x plus 76. So you want to factor that, which is not a very common one, so I'll kind of help you out here. It's x minus 38 and x minus 2. So we're going to be looking for the answers of 38 and 2. We want to see if those work. That's our objective now. Okay, did I lose anybody in that work there? Like I said, it's kind of very, very procedural. Like you really have to kind of go in line with the order of what you're supposed to do. And not getting lost in your work is also tough with the foiling and stuff, and making sure your like terms and stuff don't go by the wayside. All right, so let's test 38 then. So I test 38. If I put 38 in here, 2 times 38 is 76, plus 5 is 81. Square root of 81 is 9. 38 minus 2 is 36. Square root of 36 is 6. Is 9 minus 6 3? Yes, 38 works. All right, let's test 2. If I do 2, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 5 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. Square root of 0 is 0. Is 3 minus 0, 3. Yeah, so in this case, they both worked. Okay, so both answers are correct. Okay, that's it for the notes here. Have a